You're charging our battery, and now we're full of energy. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots.
Robots. Where do I start? Funny thing, the first thing that popped into my head was Robot Wars. Those were some of the worst robots I've ever seen in my life. They really were. I think I've already kissed multiple robots, but they were just on display. Invented robots. I don't know. What was considered the first robot? I mean, kind of robot's like a computer, isn't it? So was it the first computer that could move around, or do we consider the first computer the first robot, or was the first robot the first thing they created that could walk? Or the first thing that could talk back? What do I think is the first robot? What the first robot be? Oh man, I haven't got a clue. Perhaps the first robot was something that, what was it? I think it was something that could speak, or could hold up a conversation or something. Maybe it was just a head, or first robot, or maybe that's a really good question. Every time I think of robots, I imagine those white little Honda robots, kind of with the backpacks that walk upstairs and things. It makes you wonder if they can create these robots that can walk up the stairs and can play fiddles and stuff like that. Can they like put them all together and make some like fiddle playing, like football playing, stair climbing robot that could do like lots of different things, like a breakdancing? Beings. The fact is, when you build a robot, it's most likely going to be stronger than you because it's made of pieces of metal that can, it's going to have a torque that there's, you've seen robots rip people's heads off. Not in real life, of course. Do robots exist around the world today, walking around as if they were just humans? I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if we had the resources, but I can't see enough people really fronting the money. I'm sure that would require some sort of collaboration between certain companies or people, and they just haven't. I just don't think we've got that friendliness right now for people to really chuck all their money in together to create something like that. Too much suspicion, people are so like, oh, okay, it'll just be like in all those films and in cartoons you watch where things go wrong because there's too much distrust or mistrust, shall I say, and then somebody screws it up and it turns evil, and then, oh my god, it tears everything apart, and then we have to bring in I don't know, some sort of hero like Mel Gibson or someone to come and shoot it down, or if he's not too busy like making Jews angry. I think I'd like to have an arm which is robotic. That would be quite cool. All the pieces and gears and everything whirling inside. But of course, the robotic arms we got at the moment are pretty crap. What we really need to do is put some money into real, movements, and all these little movements they seem to forget. We all know a thumb doesn't just do that; it rotates, it moves around. We need to create something like a little gyroscopic machine that can create everything all these little muscles in the thumb can do. Because we need to start making decent robotic arms for people. We can't just stick these crappy claws on and say, "Oh, there you go." That might be all right for that one-eyed hooker guy in frickin' wherever the hell he is now. I think he's in prison, actually, for inciting racial hatred. Humans' brains are very much like computers. They simply fire on the same ideas of electrical impulses being fired around the brain. That's really no different from the way information is exchanged between chips on a computer. I think that was how computers were originally invented and robots and things, because we simply took what we had, biologically. We even take information, we look at insects. We've taken stuff about them and used it to create certain particular programs. I can't really elaborate right now. Does the little dog that walks forward 3 steps, yaps, and then does a backflip, is that considered a robot or just a toy? Because if it's a robot, then it's quite possibly the most useless robot in the world. Robots don't, it's like if you stab a person when he's out on the street, it's going to take him a while to recover. If you stab a robot, he can actually not only finish his job, but he can still come in the day after and just, and do it all over again. So I think we should have a mixture of robots, because I just think it will be a good surprise. I suppose the only downside is you'll get kids running up to coppers, knifing them, and going, "Oh, sorry mate, I thought you were a robot." and then you've just taken a life. Well, congratulations. But that'll probably be an excuse for why we shouldn't use robots, when really it's an excuse for why we shouldn't have annoying children out in the streets. You know, I think robots would re-educate people. The only downside is, honestly, if you compare to some of the people we've got in society today, I think robots could teach these kids. Also, where I'm looking for, they'd be a role model. And if we really got to a point in society where like a kind of a soulless robot that can simply do its job is actually something to look up to, because our society's fallen so far that something that you just kind of give orders to really is better. For honor! I think, like I say, this is a sort of technology thing, but I don't see a problem with it. If we get to that point, that would be considered normal, wouldn't it? You'd have robot brothels all around the city. What's wrong with visiting one? Should I have said that?